Alright everybody, Baron here and welcome back to Tabs. Now when we play Tabs, there's one unit that just seems to be abused and used as frontline soldiers and they never make it back home to their families. Of all of the units, no, it is not the squires. It is the halfling. The halfling might be just like the most underappreciated unit. We use them as cannon fodder. We use them to swarm enemy swordsmen. Clearly, they just get cut down like chaff, like if a harvester going to cut some hay. We basically use them as test subjects here to show off the immortal powers of the god units in Totally Accurate Battle Simulator, like Zeus. Like, look at this. Look at what Zeus can do. He can smite so many halflings, and these poor halflings, they may get revenge here, but they rarely ever do. And we use them further as test subjects to be like, oh, look at this new spinning mace unit. Let's face 100 halflings and watch them get absolutely wrecked. Needless to say, heaven forbid if you were to be like, oh wow, Artemis fires 20 arrows every 2 to 3 seconds. Let's face 100 hobbits. Why do we do this to these poor little halflings? Just because they're short in stature and don't seem to be very good at combat, they just kind of run up and try to hold the other unit's hands. I think they just really want to be friends. But you know what? The hobbits have had enough. And through the use of mods, we're gonna turn these simple little creatures into the best unit in Tabs. Look at his eyes. Another thing that bothers me about the poor little hobbits is they don't even have a farmer sandbox. Every other faction has its own sandbox map. Well, never mind. The farmers and the medieval don't have their sandbox. So here we go. Another one of those classic, let's see how good this unit is by showing him versing hobbits. Now first we need to train our hobbits, or I guess we could do it kind of like the Matrix. You know how like Keanu Reeves just like all of a sudden he's like, I know Kung Fu. These hobbits now know the ability to teleport. Let's see if their defensive maneuvering can beat a god. So this is gonna be interesting because watch very, very closely now what happens when the hobbits get close. You're gonna see something that may blow your mind. They are starting to teleport and get behind Zeus. Zeus thinks there's 100 hobbits in front of him. Oh no, not anymore, they're all behind him. Now, fortunately for Zeus, he can throw lightning bolts backwards. But I think that this defensive mechanic might keep hobbits on the battlefield a little bit longer. So here we have a nice group of 9 hobbits versus 2 squires. Now, squires should easily be able to dispatch these hobbits, right? But if these hobbits can make them miss through the use of teleportation, look at that. We have these little like dust devils brought up behind, and look, that allows the hobbits to down or fell at least one of the squires, leaving them to fight the other one here. They're teleporting behind as they're smiting their friends, but see the issue right now, you can see even if we train them with defensive tactics, they still only have their little grabbing ability, which is like, hey, be my friend. And they don't do a lot of damage. So clearly, while teleporting zombies or teleporting hobbits is pretty awesome because it's like, it's turning them almost into ninjas. Here we go. If they can do this, oh my gosh, if they can do this, that'd be so great. Are you grabbing onto this guy or is he grabbing onto you? They're dragging his body. Now let's see what happens. Will he teleport with him? There we go. Okay, much better than before, right? Now what we're gonna do is test these hobbits against some archers. We're gonna add a little bit more and you'll see that their price has been adjusted to 100 versus the 60 that they were before, now that they've been given the teleport ability. Okay, so here we have some classic medieval archers. There's 6 of them. Oh my god! We have turned them into Jedis. Jedi ninjas. They have the blocking ability? Oh my god, that's even better. Totally knew that was gonna happen, by the way. So they can block ranged fire. Now here's the thing. Oh my god, they absolutely wrecked them. Now, the hobbits they didn't take, well, they took 1 casualty. Hold on, let's see that again in slow motion, because that was incredible. Being able to block, look at this. We've stopped time. Oh, look at those big googly eyes. He's so cute, isn't he? They're blocking the arrows using what, Jedi abilities? Are these guys, like, did we just create the Matrix using hobbits? Now here's the thing. What happens when Artemis fires 10 arrows at once? They're able to block some of them, Oh my gosh, only one has gone down. Oh my god, they're doing pretty good. Okay, come on. I just want to see if one of them can get to Artemis. It doesn't look like it. They're able to block significant amounts, but... Oh my god, one of them actually fired an arrow back. But imagine if the arrow would be able to bounce back and hit Artemis. Alright, let's put a few more halflings in. A nice proper front line. Or two. Because remember, we have to build an army out of halflings to defeat at least the medieval faction. Because the farmers were, you know, like think about it, they're the serfs of the medieval king. So the goal here is for them to defeat the king. We need to develop hobbits that are able to defeat the king. Then we can say that we've trained these brave hobbits to overthrow. Look at that, look at the arrows. Okay, they don't look like they're ranged attack. They did pretty well. They got here. Not many other units could say the same. So once again, we're back to default halflings, but now we need to work on offensive training. We've worked on defensive training, and it's pretty fantastic, but remember, the best defense is a strong offense. These hobbits need to be able to destroy their enemies in combat. Alright, so first, weapons training. Now, unfortunately, these knights are armed with metal swords, and we've given our halflings a few sticks and said, you know what? Now that we've armed you, it's time to practice. We armed them with sparring weapons. The knights didn't really want to play fairly, unfortunately. They were sent out to break up this skirmishing. So our halflings are going to have to use their sticks here. And look at that. So they lost what? I think they lost 3 or 4 maybe. Unless these guys are just falling over. Hold on. All right, so here we go. They were skirmishing in the woods here, practicing their weapons, and then a few knights were sent out by the evil king to stop them. So here we go. These guys are doing okay. Oh, the knights are starting to just dispatch these hobbits. One knight is down though. He's been knocked out by their sparring swords, and there's only one left. So I think it's clear that certain weapons allow the hobbits to do a lot better. Now, one thing to note, however, is that the hobbits are still jumping. So they can't like, it's nature versus nurture, right? Whichever one it is, the hobbits just cannot break the habit of jumping at their enemy. But a group of them armed with just sticks can defeat a few knights that otherwise, these hobbits, unarmed as they have been working in the fields before under the evil king, they would have died. All right, so now let's up the ante, shall we? They were gonna use the weapons that were immediately available to them. So naturally, see, this is what I'm talking about. They still leap head first, even though they've got these sharp trident-like pitchforks, which I know Poseidon would be an epic god to add as well, and they can barely carry them. They are using them, and they're using them to the best of their abilities, which isn't much. We have to test if they're able to carry long polearm-like weapons. Now, the most easily available weapons to a farmer faction hobbit would naturally be a pitchfork. And you know what? There's a few more of them alive this time than there were the last time. Look at this. They absolutely knocked this knight out. And it seems to reason that if the hobbits have been fighting these knights for long enough, they might just be able to use these swords. We have a proper rebellion happening in the serfdom kingdoms of the farmer faction, and the medieval king has decided to dispatch Sir Lancelot himself, one of his finest knights, and his 2 squires to put down this rebellion. The king is like, they're just hobbits, they can't do much anyway. All of the other regularly sized units, like look how big the knight is versus a halfling. And now the halflings have swords. Using a lot of the knight's weapons, they're leaping into combat. One of the squires is already down. Make that almost 2. Hold on. Let's see what happens here. But remember, Lancelot himself is a pretty impressive unit. There we go. Both squires have been dispatched in record fashion, and I'm sure Lancelot here is going to be a little bit scared because he's like, hold on, I've never had this much problem with hobbits before. The hobbits would never be able to kill a knight. Here they've dispatched him. We gotta see that again. All right, in real time, how does this happen? So here we go, watching from the hobbit's point of view. They're leaping into combat. Oh, some of them are already getting taken down by the squires. Both squires have been dispatched, and now the knight, swinging wildly, which clearly not to, like, look at this. The hobbits are in his undercarriage, swinging around, grabbing, and stabbing with pitchforks and sword alike. So this poor knight, I don't know if he's gonna be able to win again, but remember, stranger things have happened. Okay, the king is definitely gonna have to send a larger force to put down this rebellion. Now, the hobbits are gonna have to fashion a few new weapons to make sure that they're able to dispatch a proper force sent by the king. The king, having heard about this rebellion destroying one of his knights, has brought in archers. The knight Gawain, and then look, even one squire who has a very interesting form of fighting. However, the hobbits themselves have armed themselves with some longbows. They can barely carry them, but you know what? They're doing their best. We've got pitchforks, we've got swords. Let's see if this hobbit faction is able to defeat this. Now, this is quite a large army, and the archers in the back are gonna make it particularly difficult. So maybe these poor hobbits are gonna have to learn to carry shields if they're able to defeat this, because if all their melee units go down— oh my gosh, hold on. Hold the phone, guys. Are the archers even firing yet? Let's see. It doesn't look like they're firing. I'm not sure if they take a while or if they have to wait till the unit closes the distance. Oh my god, no freaking way. But now the hobbits are aware. They know that the king is gonna come back with even more archers. I present to you the Hobbit Testudo, or maybe a Phalanx. It's, at the very least, it's shield formation. They are twin-armed, left-handed and right-handed. In the left-handed, they've got sticks that are available from the nearby forest, the mysterious forest. We need to come up with a story for the Hobbits Rebellion. If you guys got some stuff, put it in the comments below. And the king has sent his archer giant, the man who is believed to be, what? I'd say that is 10 feet tall, with a bow the size of the regular longbows, but he used to operate a ballista in the Great War against the giants. But here, he's leading a skirmishing group of archers. Now it is up to these hobbits to close the distance, and it looks like they may not have the strength to hold these shields, but they're doing their best. And they're learning tactics here. Oh gosh. They fire, once they get hit with a few arrows, they can't really hold their shields, and as a result— oh, look at the giant archer versus these hobbits. This is amazing. Don't you love tabs mods? Oh, these poor guys. So it's an interesting strategy, and they're actually doing okay. I'm surprised. Hold on. Let's pause time real quick. This guy fell. No, he didn't. He's actually alive, he just can't lift his shield. Some of these hobbits are just not very strong. So, oh my gosh, look at this. Imagine if we could make a giant hobbit, right? Oh, no way, this guy's a legend. Okay, and now there's just this guy left. Okay, so the hobbits lost this skirmish here because this guy's definitely gonna get pincushion. Looks like he got hit in his left thigh. The poor man. So if the king is gonna bring in his archer giant, well then seems only fitting that the hobbits are gonna bring in one of their giants. And obviously, if the king is going to use mostly archers, seeing as how his knights and his squires have been dispatched, and they are expensive units, you know what? Why not use 2 shields instead of 1? Look at the armor. Now, this guy— oh my god, I unlocked the executioner. Now, so look at this. And then the rest are gonna be armed with pitchforks instead of sticks. They need better weaponry. Alright, so here we go. Now, the giant hobbit is not gonna be able to, like, block as many arrows, but he is a little bit stronger since he is a giant. Oh my gosh, that arrow probably hurt a lot. So they're gonna have to close the distance. He's gonna be able to take a little bit. The shields don't seem to be blocking too many, but he's able to leap at the enemy and just smashed him down and use his shields as melee clubs of sorts. The giant is moving into formation, and the giant takes out the rare— it's like almost— oh my gosh, it's so rare for a hobbit to grow of that size. Maybe he was raised on drinking giant's milk, Lord knows. But he was a giant, and now he is no more. A great warrior for the hobbits have been dispatched. So the king is definitely wise to this whole idea. He knows that the hobbits are revising his tactics, and he's going to do so as well. Now, this is the last skirmish. The hobbits are marching, and they're about to get to the king's castle. So the king decided to send out one of his siege engines of war. Ooh, I just noticed this guy's leather hat. It's pretty awesome. He's kissing the rock because look at what he's facing. He's really hoping he's able to defeat it. We got this guy who's riding it like a broomstick. This is Harry Potter the Hobbit. Are you kidding me? And then the rest look like they're going fishing. Now remember, the farmer faction had some interesting potions that were made from rotting pumpkins, apples, and corn. And they're very nasty little potions. The hobbits found some, as well as some of this green herb in Saruman's fortress after they sacked it. And look at this. Now the hobbits are bringing forth their shield wall, and they've also got a few more potion throwers and stick wielders. This is going to be the hobbits' greatest challenge because there are 2 archers, 5 squires, and a catapult. Let's see how this one goes. Come on, squires. You gotta, oh my gosh. These guys going surfing. Oh my god, wouldn't that be cool if you could have amphibious boats? I don't know if that's gonna be possible to make it so the units are able to float, because a lot of times they'll just go down there and drown, right? Okay. Oh my gosh, that catapult rock is going to destroy things. You see the hobbits' main force just flying everywhere. The potion throwers don't seem to be very good. The hobbits don't really have a very good concept of ranged warfare just yet. They need better training, but we've had to put them in this revolution. And the king is now directly threatened as the hobbits are going to be right outside his castle walls. The king is being besieged. His castle of the ancients is under attack from a rebellion because he didn't give the hobbits any love, and he submitted them to eternal servitude out in the fields, and they didn't like it. They're happy people. And now the hobbits have been trading with the Vikings. They've been given some of their swords. Look at this. This is awesome. They've got pitchforks, they've got medieval swords, and they've got newly placed and newly shipped in Viking shields. The Vikings don't really like the king either, and as a result, the king, one of his knights, a bunch of squires, and a few archers are going to have to defend the castle. All the rest of the forces were already defeated, and the king wasn't really anticipating this. Plus, we've got archers that, you know what, they're like, oh, I'm gonna try to shoot 2 bows at once, and you know what, they're actually raining down some arrows, and they're actually able to take out some of these enemies. Interestingly enough, the potion throwers didn't seem to work very well, but you know what, maybe hobbits just have a better liking when using medieval weapons, as they've always been dominated by the medieval faction in the past. So they've got archers, they've got arrows, and look at this, man. We've got the Viking shields here are definitely helping the hobbits out, but the king himself has an incredible weapon. Oh my gosh, look at this. Can you imagine being the king and being like, a horse, my kingdom for a horse? These hobbits, some of them, oh look, the bigger ones have a little more health than the little ones. These archers are still alive, but look at this. We have this brave hobbit charging the front lines with just his pitchfork and just his shield. The king is getting mobbed in the background. Look at this. Come on, man. Yes! Oh my god, look at that attack ability. He used it to dodge, and now it looks like he's skateboarding. I don't think the archer's gonna have a shot. He's gonna have to fire directly through that eye hole, or he's gonna take it in the side. Ladies and gentlemen, the Hobbits Rebellion. So let's see that one more time. And you know what? Maybe we'll give the king, like, what if he would have had another knight, right? His royal bodyguard, because he only sent 2 of his great knights. Look at this. These hobbits, some of them get pushed back, but when you think about this, and look, I reset, so it resets all of the hobbits to this giant shield wall. So I actually think they might do even better. Now, none of them have swords, but they do have pitchforks. And I'm wondering, do the pitchforks do lesser damage, or what? So one of the knights is down, a second knight is down, and the king is getting mobbed. He's not used to having to fight units that are this short. His swinging motions, you know, his muscle memory is needing to be altered while he's in combat. Look at this. It's just an absolute wall of shields. What just happened? I don't know if oh my gosh. These poor archers, I was about to say they don't know what's gonna hit them. No, they can definitely see what's about to hit them. A bunch of hobbits who have leaping abilities, shields protecting them, and very sharp pitchforks. Pitchforks that remind me of Poseidon's trident. Ladies and gentlemen, the Hobbit Revolution, the Hobbit Rebellion has overthrown the kingdom. The medieval faction has been overthrown, they've been deposed, and the farmer faction is finally free, based off one of the most humble units that has been abused and used in weapon experiments since Tabs has been released on April 1st. These poor hobbits are finally free. Cue the gladiator, now we are free music. And oh my gosh, I wish I could make Roman gladiators as a unit. Anyway, this has been our first episode of Tabs modded units, the best modded units in Tabs. Thank you for watching The Hobbit Rebellion, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Let me know what you'd like to see.